Hi, I'm Gordon Black with the Cahaba River Society. I'm here with LaTanya Scott, and we're going to demystify cooking fish. We're hoping that a lot of you folks are going to want to have teams and take part in our fry down. This year, fry down is virtual. Everybody's going to cook their own fish at their own home. And LaTanya and I are most at home here on the river. So we're cooking right beside the little Cahaba River, and we're going to show you an easy, simple way to cook fish. For those of you who haven't fried fish or haven't prepared fish on the side of a river, we're just going to show a couple of really simple techniques using very few ingredients, the sort of thing that you might have on a camping trip. Certainly you'll be able to do a fancier job in your own kitchen. While LaTanya fishes for fresh fish, I'm going to talk a little bit here about the equipment we're using. And again, very, very simple. I'm starting off with the fish in an ice bath. We want to make sure we keep it food safe. I've got some flour to start off a breading. We're going to have an egg to dip the floured fish in, and then a little panko. I like to have the outer layer be panko. That makes it really nice and crisp when you fry it up. I've got a little camp stove with me, and you'll notice I have two frying pans. One has some oil in it. The other, I'm going to use a different technique. I'm going to actually poach a piece of fish. This is another very simple way to cook fish. So, some of the things we're going to use today. You'll notice we have a trash can. We want to leave the river cleaner than we found it, actually. We're always picking up people's trash along the river, and we don't want to leave any of ours, so we make sure to keep it contained. I've got a little tub to wash my hands in if I need to. Some cooking oil, salt, pepper, a lemon, some garlic, just a few simple flavorings for the fish. We also have two spatulas. It's really nice to move the fish around with two spatulas. Maybe you would use a fork and a spatula, but two implements make flipping the fish a lot easier. Of course, I'm wearing an apron and a little towel. I don't always do that, but it sure keeps things cleaner, especially when you're frying. We're going to saute the fish in some white wine. We're going to then present it to you and show you what it can look like on a plate. Again, this is the simplest way to cook it. You can come up with a much more innovative recipe on your own. So what kind of fish are you going to use? You got your choice. So usually at Fry Down, we just cook catfish. But this year, you get to make the choice. It can be anything, ocean or freshwater. You know, if you've got fresh fish out of the river, that's fabulous. Today, I'm going to try to cook a fillet of cod and a fillet of tilapia. Now,
Hey, Gordon, cook this.
Awesome, fresh fish. Very good. On our website, you can find other videos that'll show you how to clean your fresh fish, how to take the scales off, and how to fillet it so that it's ready for cooking, just like what we're going to do right now. Okay, I'm going to start with breading and frying a nice fillet of cod. I want to make sure that before I start this, my oil is up to temperature. It's really useful to use a little instant read thermometer. You can just wait for it to shimmer, but it's really nice to get an idea. And I'm already getting up there pretty hot. I'd like to get my oil a little bit hotter than that, close to 350 if possible. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and beat the egg so that I can have it ready. And I find it's really helpful to have all the ingredients close to my pan so that I don't have to drip stuff all over. See how the oil is doing now. All right, getting up there pretty hot. You could just put the flour mixture in a bowl, but I find putting it in the bag is a little less messy. I don't spread flour all over the place. Another great way to test to see if your oil is hot enough is to drop a few crumbs in and see if they sizzle up. That tells you it's really getting pretty good and hot. I'm gonna take the cod fillet, fold over my bag a little bit, keeping one hand clean and one hand messy. It makes it a little easier to clean up. Make sure you knock off any extra flour. You don't want too much flour. Just in the egg and right into the panko. I like to get a good coating of panko on all sides and right into the oil. When you put the fish in the oil, make sure that you drop it away from you so that you don't splash oil on yourself. That's going to brown and cook up quite quickly. I'm going to even turn that down just a little bit because it's plenty hot now. You know, I might have put some more seasoning in some of that. I did put a little salt and pepper in the flour. You could put it in the panko. You could even put some stuff in the egg. And you're not limited to salt and pepper. You might want to try some ginger or garlic powder or something like that. You can really go wild with different flavorings. Fish really lends itself well to spices. All right, this is starting to look kind of brown. Let's see about turning this one over. Oh, looking good. Now, before I take it out of the pot, out of the pan, I'm going to check the internal temperature of the fish. Fish is considered to be safe to eat once it's reached 145 degrees. So that's another reason to have a thermometer with you. You can guesstimate and you can get pretty close, but this way you're accurate. Oh, there we go. It's starting to get nice and warm, up close to 140. Oh yeah. About 180 on the edges, almost up to temperature in the middle. Yeah, we're right there in the middle, right around 140, 145. So this fish is done. Now to cook the tilapia. We're going to poach the tilapia in some white wine, a nice dry Sauvignon Blanc. You'll always want to cook with a wine that you don't mind drinking. So a little for the cook, and a bit for the pan. There we go. LaTanya? Some wine?
Yes, please.
Is it good enough to cook in? Oh, thanks for catching all the fish.
You're very welcome.
Doing all the hard work. Oh, it's quite drinkable. All right, we're going to get that nice and heated up. This doesn't have to come up to as high a temperature for sure, but you do want to have it nice and warm before you put in the fish. We'll talk about it. This is a really simple way to cook, and it's actually in some ways a little less messy and less dangerous than using oil, because you don't have to have that liquid as hot. And you don't have to poach in wine. You can poach in stock, chicken stock or vegetable stock. Works really well. You got a little bubbling going on. I think it's about ready. So we're going to take our fillet of tilapia here. And again, when I put it in the pan, I want to let it kind of go away from me so that I don't get splashed with this hot wine. It's not as hot as the oil, but it's still kind of hot. One of the things that really helps this cook quickly is to put a lid on it. All right, I'm going to take a look at this poaching fish just to see how we're doing. It's only been a few minutes, but you can see it's already turning opaque and starting to cook pretty well. I'm going to turn it over here at this point very carefully so I don't splash with the fish. Cover it back up. All right, we'll take our poached fish out, and when you poach fish, sometimes, especially thin fillets like this, they'll come apart a little bit. They'll still taste great, even if they've started to come apart a little bit. I'm going to put it on a paper towel for a second. It's really nice to be able to use two spatulas with something like this, especially when the fish is a little delicate and it's starting to come apart a little bit. I'm going to put it right on the paper towel for a moment, let it drain. And then, hey, I need a taster. All right, LaTanya, if you want to try the fish and tell me which one you like best, you've got the cod with a breading, a little lemon on it. We can just try some of that. And then we've got the tilapia that's just lightly poached in white wine.
It smells so good.
I put a little pearled couscous beside it, a little starch to dress it up and accompany it.
That's really good.
Is it?
That
good.
is really good.
But now, what do you think about that one? You get the delicacy of it?
I like that one.
Do you?
Ooh.
You don't have to choose. You can do it either way. the finest compliment a cook can get. Okay, folks, please go to frydown.com and register your team. We want you to get out there and cook some fish. And folks, stay safe.